English will open so many doors for you. According to several demographical statistics, there's 1.5 billion people in this world who speak English as either their first or second language. Moreover, 494.7 million people in this world are native English speakers. That leaves us with more than 1 billion people who in this world decided, you know what, I'm going to learn English and just integrate it in my life. What's most impressive is that according to the British Council Future of English, 2.3 billion people in this world speak English or is able to communicate in English to a certain extent. Today, English is the universal language. It's not any language. It is literally the language where people communicate the most. It is everywhere. It is on the internet. It is on your public bus transportation. It is on touristic place. It is everywhere. And why is that? Why is that English is so important? It is the language that helps us communicate from one place to another. You see, this channel, yes, it is done for you to study abroad and be able to get a scholarship. And yes, that is one of the many benefits of learning English. However, that's not the main point of it. You see, when you go to another country as an international student, either Erasmus or any other organization that you're going with representing, yes, you might go to France or Germany, where they speak French and German respectively as their native tongues. And they won't speak Spanish or Arabic or Afrikaans or whatever your main language is as you're watching me right now. But they do speak English, and that works as a bridge. English is as a bridge. That's how you have to see it in this world. And that's why it's a necessity. English will help you study abroad and earn a scholarship and study for free in one of the best countries in the world with the best universities, with the best talents, best professors. But it can also allow you to do an internship or get a job, or in your home country, get a remote job and actually earn in US dollars, in British pounds, and get a great or a higher income. And I know this kind of sounds weird because if you're watching this video, you probably speak English or you can understand it and you're looking to get a scholarship and you're in that process, but at the same time, you're kind of like shy to actually speak it. And in this video, I would like to share with you a method that I utilized for me to be able to speak English, and that helped me a lot. Before I do that, I would like to give a disclaimer, a quick story about me, is that I'm not a guy who is going to tell you a fake story of how poor he was and that he came from a place where he had nothing, a house. No, I come from an okay household. I was middle class in my home country, yet the country is a poor. It is what it is. I love the Latin American region, and it's a beautiful country. There's a lot of beaches, climate, but it's a poor country, right? And so my parents, especially my mom, who eventually became a single mom, worked really hard for her two sons to actually be bilingual. And I was able to receive a bilingual education. With that being said, I also give my merit to myself because I decided to do some work experience in my home country before arriving here in France. I worked in different departments, in outsources and call centers. In Honduras and a lot of developing nations, it is very common for American and European countries to oversee their staff and hire people internationally. And I was able to do that. And there's where I got the fluency. Probably to speak it. However, I already achieved fluency when it comes to listening to it. And this is what I want to show you in this video. After I was able to get some work experience in my home country, I was able to work in remote jobs, working with people from all continents. I've worked with literally people from any continent in this world. And that is something amazing that without the English language, I would have never been able to do. And now that I got a scholarship and study here in France, I would have never been able to study and meet people from Lebanon, from Senegal, from Morocco, from China, from Germany, from the US, from Peru, Colombia, literally everywhere. Like I've met people from all parts of the world, and it's because of that, right? So it is a place that can help you open doors. It is a habit that's going to be a game changer in your life. And why I say it's a habit, because this is one I want to share with you that they don't teach you in bilingual institutes, in language academies. See, the problem with the education system in general is that they are very academic. And don't get me wrong, that is not something bad. It's not to bash on the education system. And actually, I encourage you to study, right? It's very contradictory. But the truth is, the education system is made for you to follow rules, to be constant, right? Following rules. And that is great. That is a great part of that. You need to learn the rules when you're learning a language. And they can also help you achieve a vocabulary. But it goes much more beyond that. The best thing that you can do to use that academic aspect as a tool, as a support for you, because what you'll need is the base, and the base is for you to get immersion. You need to get full immersion in that language. Why is immersion important? Because it'll get you a way to integrate that language in your home country. With today's digital and technological tools, you might think, oh, I have to go to an English-speaking country or to travel and spend a lot of money for me to be able to communicate with all locals that are in that English language. But no, thanks to social media and the internet, you can use a lot of tools, and also thanks to technology, by the way. There are several things that I did, several habits, and that's the thing. You need to learn the language as a habit. For you to be able to implement this immersion, you need to understand that it has to be a habit in your day-to-day activities. If you're not able to practice it on a daily basis, it's going to be really hard for you to learn English. That's the truth that these academics won't tell you. So you might have the best professor in the world, the best tools, the best workbooks and textbooks. But if in your day-to-day life, you don't practice it, you don't immerse into it, it's going to be really hard for you to reach some level of fluency. And that's why it's important that you implement it, but consider the 4 key elements, okay? Those 4 elements are the first one, which is the most important one, and this is where people get stuck. Speak. So that you can speak English fluently, you need to be able to get used. Your tongue, your mouth literally has to be able to get used to pronounce words in English, because your tongue in today's day, it's probably used to speaking it in your mother tongue, right? The R, for instance, in English sounds different than the ones in Spanish or in French or German. The R in English is like ra, ra, re, ro, ro, re, ri, ro, ru. Whereas in Spanish, it's ra, re, ri, ro, ru. You see? The R in French and German is ra, re, ri, ro, ru. So it's different. So those are the tricks that you need to understand. Another trick that I can give you is for you to speak in front of a mirror. And you'll be able to achieve that by literally just talking about a top subject that you like, so that once you do that, you'll be able to understand the tricks and the tips for you to learn that language. So if you speak in front of a mirror every day 5 minutes a day, that's going to be great. You can record yourself doing videos, speaking in that language, or you can actually record yourself on voice notes. Whatever works best for you, it's going to be a game changer in your speaking skills. Of course, once you have confidence enough and for you to speak in front of a mirror, for you, if you feel like you're good enough, pronouncing words, you can actually engage in conversations. You can start with friends who you have lots of confidence with, people who want to mock at your accent, which, by the way, that rarely happens. That has never happened in my life. People mock in my accent. It is what it is. Everyone has an accent, right? And once you've been able to engage with conversations with friends or acquaintances or people who you're close with, family, you'll be able to engage in conversations with foreign people, strangers, or you can actually get a job or get a bachelor's degree or master's degree in an English language. All right, the second element that you need to consider is the listening part. So these two are oral elements, so that you can actually understand the verbal English, or this applies to any language, by the way. You need to be able to listen it on a daily basis. It would arrive to me in several occasions when in my very first job as a customer service representative for an American call center in my home country in Honduras before coming here to France, where I would engage with people over the phone and I wouldn't understand what they were saying at times. And this was very cool because I was able to speak, and it was like a game for me to decipher what they were saying. What helped me a lot is to be able to configure or set up my life in the English language. And what do I mean by that? My hobbies, I included the English language in every single one of them. So let's say I would play video games in English, but not only the written aspect, like the instructions on the video games, but I would also put the narrator on English. I would play FIFA, the soccer game, the very popular, with English narrators, commentators. I would also configure my phone in English and my computer in English. But more importantly, I would consume lots of American media. By media, I mean any type of content that's out there, content in English, also British and Canadian, so that my ears could adapt to other accents. So I did that in different topics. Till today, I consume a lot of content about politics, economy, travel, sports, fashion, Hollywood movies. There's a lot of American content out there. It's probably the most common one in this world. And so that helped me be able to adapt my brain. Basically, you have to brainwash yourself to be able to understand English. Now we're going to the written aspect. You need to learn how to write in English. This too is where you produce. We'll put another arrow here. The written part of learning a language is easier because it's back office, we could say it in the industry. That's how I would describe it. It's the back office part of learning a language. It is important for you to be able to write a motivation letter, a resume in English, to text someone, right, on the internet. This is gonna sound a little bit off topic, but the truth is, on a dating app or on Instagram, if you can flirt actually in that other language, and you'll be able to do it in English as well. Here you can actually, very simple tips that are very basic and straightforward is for you to write. You can do it handwritten, repeat words. The professors, they would tell us, write these 10 words every day, 10 times each word. That's how we learn vocabulary in my home country. in private bilingual institutes, and it worked. It was very efficient. So I would encourage you to not only write words, but sentences. That's why it's important for you to maybe write on a journal. Now you can also actually handwrite. I think it's going to be also very important for you to be able to adapt your keyboard typing skills and enhance them. Enhance them with Google Docs, for instance. That's the one I personally use. I don't sponsor them. I don't promote them. It's the one that has worked for me so far. And do that at least 3 times a week so that you can actually reach a level of fluency. You can also write the newsletter, type on LinkedIn. These abilities will help you improve your English. And last but not least, it's the reading aspect. You need to learn how to read. And so this makes up the written part of a language, and those two is when this is where you produce and this is where you consume. They're equally important. Reading is very straightforward. You need to read. You need to read books, articles. Ideally, at first, do it in topics that you enjoy, that you're passionate about. With that being said, you'll realize that you reach a level of fluency and you already know the words, and the vocabulary is going to become a little bit repetitive and boring for you. Once you do that, start reading in other topics that are more serious, right? Because we're normally engaging in content that's friendly, perhaps fashion or celebrity news, as for maybe ladies, or household utensils, right? Gardening. Once we're being able to reach that level, a good vocabulary, and we understand lots of words, start implementing on the career that you want to build. If it's not one of these careers that I mentioned, it's not related, then you can actually learn or read English about astronomy, I don't know, or biology, or tech industry. You know, these really complicated words. And I want to give you a pro tip, because I know that a lot of people is busy on a day-to-day life, and more. Some people are going to be like, well, I don't have time to do all of this. How am I supposed to learn English, right? It's very basic what I'm going to tell you, but read out loud, for instance. In the listening part, you can actually listen while you're washing your dishes, or while you're cooking, or where you're out taking out the trash in your home. You can put some headphones, and instead of listening to music, listen to that podcast in the English language. Or if you're going to listen to music, listen it in English. Another solid tip that I can give you is read out loud, because there you'll be doing 2 daily study elements in one, where you'll be able to read a book, but at the same time speak it, because you'll be pronouncing the words, and pronounce it out loud. Don't be afraid. Lock yourself in a room and read out loud, like I'm recording this video right now in a locked room. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid, and just speak it out loud, and make sure you pronounce every word. It's a technique that I was recommended, and that is very solid. Make sure that you pronounce every word in a good tone of voice while you're reading that book. That's going to help you reach fluency. I just would like to give you this last thought about the English language process, and is that it is a habit, and like every habit in this world, the best time for you to start was yesterday, but the second best time for you to start is today. So thank you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Watch this video that I did last week about what is it like to study in France, and what are some of the cultural shocks that I encountered. Please subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.